Oh, I got something to say. I love you too, Rob. I got something for you. So in October 2023, when I was at the affiliated New Thought Network conference in Unity Village, James Mellon was on stage, and he was talking about his book, The 5 Questions. And you might want to make note of that. It's a very, very good book, and it gets you to think about who you are and what you're doing here in this world. But he was talking about who and what we are, and that was the first time I heard somebody utter the phrase, "You are God." And the little Catholic girl in me, went to Catholic school for 12 years, was waiting for lightning to strike the building. I was looking for something to duck under so I wouldn't get struck, because I just knew it was coming. And so even though that statement hit me between the eyes in a disturbing way, it also hit my heart in a very real and comforting and knowing kind of way. So it resonated, even though I couldn't believe he said it out loud. In fact, he has said that when he said it in his congregation, people left. People were like, "Oh, hell, we ain't doing this. This is..." I am out of here, because... Yeah, he had some people that left. And I get it. I understand that. And during this talk, he started talking about his class, Advanced Consciousness. And I immediately signed up for it, because he was pushing my buttons the whole time he was talking. And again, I was intrigued, and I was kind of scared of it at the same time. And that's usually my signal that I need to do this, because something's uncomfortable here. Something's uncomfortable, and I want to know what that is. I try to stay in a place of curiosity in life, and I want to know what that is. So I signed up for his course before I think that afternoon was over. And that started me on a 3-year journey in quantum physics and the intersection between spirituality and science. Is there any? What do you think about that? Let's explore that. And the teacher, James Mellon, throughout this whole thing, our job was to question everything. Question everything you hear, question everything you feel, question everything you read, and come from that place of curiosity into a new understanding, perhaps, of God and of yourself. And I thought, I have never heard anybody challenge me to do that. Never, ever, ever. So I started this 3-year journey, not knowing why I was in it, just knew that something said do it, and whenever that something says do it, I do it. I go in, and I started this journey. And the whole journey really was about me questioning who I am and discovering who I am at a new level. So the first class, here I am the first year, 30 weeks the first year and 30 weeks the second year. And I'm in a class with other ministers and people who are just taking the class because they want to learn something, and they were also intrigued by the subject, but they were not taking it for credit. And I'm in the room with mostly people who are in religious science. And so I'm aware of religious science. It is a part of New Thought, but they come from a different philosophy or understanding of God, and that's okay. And I understood everything that they were talking about, where they were coming back from, but I was one of the lone unity people in the room. And I would say for the first third of that class, I questioned everything that I thought, and how am I going to stand with these folks in my power and still know what I know and do what I'm called to do in this class, which is to grow and to question and be curious and to keep being there. At least for the first third of the class, I thought Reverend James was going to throw me out. I knew with every paper I turned in and every question I asked, I was going to get a phone call from him saying, you know what, girlfriend, I don't know why you thought you should take this. Because sometimes he can be the Simon Cowell of, of spirituality. Honey, this is just not your gift. You need to seek something else. Wrong class, wrong class. I just knew it was coming. Every single paper, I just knew I was going to get that email. And half the time, I was hoping he was going to send the email, because I thought, then I can just give this up. I don't have to pretend. I don't have to come in here and be uncomfortable. I don't have to continue to ask questions. I don't have to try to stand in my power amongst people where I'm comparing myself to them. How come I'm not thinking about like they are? How come I don't have the same understanding they have? And oh my God, every single class, I just felt like I was running this gauntlet and trying to figure out, who the heck am I in the midst of all this stuff? So it was, when I tell you that it was uncomfortable, that's not even the right word for it. I mean, I felt besieged at every moment. And part of this class was we had to come in and we had to ask questions. We had to have debate about things. We had to come in questioning things about quantum physics, things I barely understood that I was reading. I didn't know what the science was, but I still had to come with some level of intelligent questioning about what it was. And there are days when he called on me, and I just said, look, dude, I got nothing right now. I got nothing. Check back in about 5-10 minutes, and I might have a question I can pose. He actually respected that. He's like, okay, I'm good. And he would come back, or I would just raise my hand and I would ask a question, or I would pose something that I thought about a particular thing that I read, or something else that somebody in my class said, and I would say, how about this? Or I'm feeling this about what you said. And I resonate with part of what you said, but the other half, I just think you're just pulling something out of your hat. So the whole journey was about finding myself in the midst of all that. In the midst of all that. And it happened. So over those 30 weeks, I got more and more comfortable with being uncomfortable and being okay with where I stood at the moment, but not quite understanding everything that I stood on in the moment. To just say, it's okay that I don't understand everything about what we're talking about, but I do know this and this, one or two things about what we're talking about. Or I know that I can hold on to this one thing, and the other 20 I don't know, but I'm okay with discovering what the other 20 are at some point in my time, in my journey. And I'm still good, and I'm still me, and I'm still strong, and I am still an infinitely powerful spiritual being, maybe not feeling complete, whatever the heck that meant, but feeling complete in the moment and standing in that, and knowing that all is good, and all is God, and all is well. I learned to be okay in the questions and in the uncertainty, and to know that because I am of the divine, that I am whole, perfect, and complete as I am in the moment. and be good with that. And that has served me well. Because most of my days, I have questions about some stuff. Why is this happening? Why is this person coming at me with this? Why is this happening in the world? What is mine to do at this moment? What do I pray for now? Does what's happening here require that I change and shift? And if so, in what direction? Always questions, always questions, always questions. So to learn how to be okay with all the questions and to know that I'm good in all the questions, that I am complete in the midst of all the questions, took a lot of stress off of me and gave me a lot of peace. I became peaceful with being in a place of discovery about myself. Because I also learned in that time that this discovery of myself is a phenomenal thing. And I learned that this thing that I call myself is magnificence because I'm of God. This thing that I call myself is magnificent because I am of God. It's taken 60-some years for me to get here. 60-some years. And it's good to be here. To be in a place of discovery, to be in a place of curiosity about myself, about my place in the world, to not have any preconceptions about myself that are negative, to let them go, to let them run off of me, to let all the magnificence that I know and experience with God and as God in my meditation time, in my daily living, as I find magnificence in all the moments of my days. That gives me peace. And that gives me this feeling and knowingness that yes, I am God. Yes, ding, 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 ding. Yeah, it took a lot of time to be able to say that and say it with the right, say it in the vein with which it truly, truly means. Again, I've said this before. If you ever say that statement and you feel any hubris or arrogance or anything, you have hit the wrong God. Soon as you say that or think that, and you feel any amount of superiority over anybody or anything, you have misunderstood God. Because when you truly know that and believe that and embody that in your heart, you should feel at one with everything and everybody. You will know that everybody else, every other being, every other thing in this world and of this world is also God in expression. And you will treat everything and everybody with reverence. You will bless everything that you do. You will know that every step you take is on holy ground. You will feel a peace, and you will feel a harmony that you have never felt before. You will walk more softly through life. And that's when you know you are truly divine. In fact, I think you'll barely be able to say the words without something catching in your throat. Because I can't. I mean, when I say it, I just feel something move through me that I know is God. Something shifts through me and says, yes, yes, yes. Beloved, you are home. You are home. Yes, I've been waiting for you to know who you are. You will feel that love that Robin was singing about, and she sang that, and you felt that vibrate through you. That's what you should feel when you say the words, I am God. I am God. I am God. So I invite you to tune into, truly, truly, truly tune into life with a capital L. And seek the God that is life. Seek the God that is you and everybody else and everything else. Trust that thing in you that speaks to you and says, and you know that something's right for you because something's speaking within you and driving you towards something that perhaps makes you quake in your boots because you think, that ain't me. I can't, I shouldn't. That makes me uncomfortable. I don't know who these people are who are going to do it with me. Who are they anyway? They look like they voted for the other guy. Oh, yeah. I think they go to that other church. Look how they're dressed. They don't look like they know anything. I thought all that stuff. And just had judgment all over the place. And the only reason I was judging like that is because I didn't know who I was. So I got to throw all that stuff on everybody else and judge all of y'all because I don't want to look at myself. And I only know myself in comparison to you. And because I don't love me, I got to tear you down to make myself fit in. Or maybe to feel a little bit better because I think my outfit's a little prettier than yours today. I didn't want to say it, but that's where judgment comes from. When you don't know who you are, when you question who you are, when you don't love yourself. So I got to turn this out on you because then I don't have to look at me. And the very things you don't like about somebody else are probably things you don't like about you. You spot it, you got it. And that's a bitter pill because there are some things I spotted and I said, I know I don't have that. And 2 weeks later, I was eating crow. 2 weeks later, I said, I got that. I have that. I know, I've done it. You'll swear up and down you don't have something somebody else has. And that very thing that they have sticks in your craw, makes you want to scream. And you'll swear up and down, you will. You'll say, I know I don't have that. I know I'm better than them. I know I've never done that, never said that, never been like that, never would be like that because I'm so much more enlightened. And if you'll just let it go and walk away, and stay open, you'll be doing something else, cleaning the house, wake up in the morning, maybe you're working on something, I don't know what it is, you'll be doing your laundry and all of a sudden you'll go, ooh. And then you have the opportunity to heal that. And then you can love people where they are, and you can love yourself where you are. And you can start to discover more of who you are. That divine spark, that magnificence. You find a little bit more of that magnificence to embody and to recognize as you. And then you just keep moving towards that. So as I was in this class and started to find myself, I started to find my strength. I started to know who I was, what my beliefs were. How do I stand in them? How do I understand them? How do I articulate it to people who don't know or maybe don't understand where I come from a spiritual perspective? And so there were times when they were having conversations and explaining things about life and about God and about spirituality, and there were so many words with lots of syllables, and it was all very heady, and they were just going on and talking paragraphs worth of things about, and I would say, aren't we just talking about God? Like, what the heck? Just say, this is God. Isn't that all we're talking about? And the answer was yes. So I found myself amongst all of the stuff that happened in that class. All of it wonderful. All of it disconcerting. All of it just felt like it went over my head. But I would have moments of recognition and then relaxing into who I am. That's what that experience forced me to do. Because I stayed in there. And the days when I wanted to quit, I didn't quit. On the days I prayed that I was going to be thrown out of the class, I was thankful I didn't get the email saying you're thrown out of the class. And I had another chance to have another 3 hours of curiosity in class about who I am and what I believe. And it was that experience that helped me discover more who I am through a diagnosis and a health journey that I never thought I would have to take. And that took me on another journey into discovering more deeply about who I am. And so if we will always step into situations like that with a curiosity, with an openness, asking lots of questions, and not judging yourself, just being open at all moments about who could I possibly be now in this moment, you will be shown the way. And divine intelligence will rise up to meet you in those moments and say, baby, you're home. Yes, this is who you are. Yes, I am you, you are me. Go shine your light. Go shine your light. Go shine your light. Because that's all you are, is light. You can dim it if you want. But you can't not be light. Look, life is all constantly pulling us into stuff we don't want to do, things we don't want to face, putting us in situations we don't want to handle, putting us in front of people we would rather not be in front of because we're uncomfortable. And we would rather just walk away and do something easier. And that allows us to show up as half of what we are, a percentage of what we are, to hide parts of ourselves, to dim the light. And all it does is make us suffer. Because as you shine your light for others, you shine it for yourself. Shine it for yourself. This is another reading from the Book of Awakening. This is from September 17th. It's called The Lazy Susan Self. This is Mark Nepo's quote. The God in us is not a half presence. There is no screening who you are. For years I lived this way, turning the side of me to others that they could understand, spinning the aspects of my true self like a lazy Susan, offering only what others wanted or needed or felt most comfortable with. I became very good at this, could spin in a crowd of loved ones, accommodating many needs at once. I came to believe that I was being selfless, an agile listener, reliable and giving. I thought I had found a way to be both who I am and considerate. What I didn't realize that more and more of who I truly am was being hidden, and that showing only the part of me that others found acceptable was not being true to myself. Over time, I became a spy with my deepest feelings and beliefs. The cost eventually was a subtle but ever-present spiritual suffocation. I know. No one asked me to do this. Certainly, I have had wounds in my history that conditioned me to hide myself at times, but it was my own misperception of how to negotiate the world that made an art form of changing faces, even though all the faces unto themselves were true. Fear of conflict, fear of rejection, fear of not being loved, fear of showing what I believed no one else could possibly understand, a lack of trust and faith that the flower inside me could survive the elements out here. All this stayed unaddressed for years until I spun my lazy Mark self. As we live it, the line between privacy and hiddenness is very thin indeed. I have learned painfully and thoroughly that each of us is an entire symphony. And though there are times when all of us will not be heard, dis-ease begins the moment all of us is not played. I know, I love that last sentence.
What day is that?
September 17. I have learned painfully and thoroughly that each of us is an entire symphony. And though there are times when all of us will not be heard, Dis-ease, disease, begins the moment all of us is not played. I know, woof. So what part of you are you hiding? Where are you dimming your light? Where are you showing up in the world smaller than what you are? In what circumstances are you comparing yourself to others because you think I can't possibly measure up? Doesn't matter what everybody else is or what they do. You have to be you, the full you. The symphony of you should be played. I love that phrase, spiritual suffocation. How many of you are not breathing fully into life? I know I'm not always doing it. How many of you are not fully breathing into truly who you are and breathing that into the world? And how long are you going to take short breaths of life? Not breathing fully into who you are and sharing that with yourself and with the world. That's your dis-ease. That's yours. You're a full symphony of magnificence. Play that in the world. Discover what that is in every moment. So in every single moment of life, you should be asking yourself, am I singing my full song here? Is a symphony playing? Is my symphony playing? Do I know the magnificence of my song in this moment? Let's take this in a meditation. So just breathe. Just breathe. And whatever you're feeling right now, whatever you're thinking right now, let yourself just be with that. Maybe you're uncomfortable, maybe you're excited. Maybe you're angry. Maybe you're sad. Maybe you're grieving for a part of you that you have not allowed to sing. Maybe you're waiting for others to tell you what your song is. Maybe you're looking outside of yourself for affirmation that you're enough. Maybe you're ignoring the still small voice within you that's calling you to something. and you don't want to hear it. You've been ignoring it. Keep saying you're not ready for it. You don't know that others are going to think it's okay. You don't think you're good enough, young enough, old enough. Whatever it is, whatever the judgment is. So I invite you in this moment to just be curious about your magnificence. If you truly sang that song, if you were truly willing to shine that light, what might that look like? How turned on might you be about life if you truly sang your symphony? And what kind of a relationship would you have with the divine? If you let this song of your divinity sing through you. What would you know about God if you were truly living God fully? So I invite you to be curious. Say yes to the questions and say yes to yourself as you sit in the questions. Who is this God and who am I? And how can I be more of that in every moment? So let's take a deep breath. Breathing in and breathing out love and life. Breathing in and out the willingness to sing your song in the way that only you can sing it. So that your individual symphony becomes a part of the symphony of life, that it is humanity. That is a part of the all there is, which is God. How can you be more God in each moment, more love in each moment, more peace in each moment, more compassion in each moment, more unity in each moment, more prosperity and abundance in each moment? More generosity and beauty and creativity and strength and power and might in each moment. We may not be the entire ocean, but we are fully the ocean in a single drop. A wave and expression of the divine in the vast sea of divinity. So we say yes and thank you to life. Yes and thank you to love. Yes and thank you, to curiosity and questions and discovery of magnificence. That is God, and that is each one of us. Yes, and thank you to our power and might, the light that we are. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen.